So, you want to learn how to be a mountain goat in Project CW and get to places like these?
Yes.
Then you've come to the right place. I won't be teaching you every single climb in this video, but I will be teaching you the basics so that you can find climbs yourself. The first thing that is important to climbs is hole geometry. To keep it simple, it's how the shape of your hole interacts with the environment and how likely it is to be stopped or catch onto the environment, which can drop all of your speed while doing certain climbs. Some vehicles have terrible geometry, such as the XM190, which can make getting to some inaccessible areas more difficult, and some have great hole geometry which can make some of these climbs a walk in the park, such as Reaper's M60 or Kent's HSTVL. Now, there are four main methods of getting to out of bounds areas. These are standard climbs, which almost all vehicles can do, boosting, or more specifically Reaper boosting in order to get up tricky slopes, Jaeger boosting, which uses Hound's Leo 1A6 clone to boost you over walls or small ledges, and there's collision bugging, in order to get other vehicles over ledges in tanks that aren't the Leo 1A6. Let's go over standard climbs. These are the climbs with the lowest barrier to entry and can usually be found by looking for areas that seem like you can just drive up or sprint up them. There are going to be less of these climbs than the boost climbs, as some of these areas will have invisible walls to prevent you from just driving up them. However, there are still a few of them, and potentially even more can be found in the future. It all depends on how heavy the hammer on mountain goating will be for Project CW, but some of the spots that have been found, like the ones being shown as examples, can be pretty useful. It should be mentioned some vehicles will have more access to standalone climbs, like the HSTVL or the Reaper M60. Now, let's go over boosting, or better known as Reaper boosting, as it is the best tank to boost you for these types of climbs, and they could be spotted by looking for areas that it seems like you could drive up if you were going 100 kilometers or even faster, or if it looks like you could ramp a tank up them, as these are the climbs that you generally cannot do alone due to the steeper nature unless you are in the Reaper's M60. The reason why you will want to use the M60 to boost you is due to the charge ability, which amps up the M60's horsepower, allowing you to launch people up climbs. The best combo for these climbs is M60 Reaper with the HSTVL, as it can launch HSTVLs the furthest distance due to its lightweight. For Jaeger boost areas, these are easier to spot as you look for a ledge or wall that is about the same height as the Leo 1A6, as the boost essentially puts you on top of your clone with your forward momentum. In order to pull off a Jaeger boost, you're going to want to be driving near your top speed and have the clone out and ready to place as close to your vehicle that it will allow you, and you have to place it before the clone comes into contact with the obstacle, as it will prevent you from placing it. There are climbs that you can theoretically do with a Jaeger boost, as it can sometimes launch you high up. The problem is this form of Jaeger boost is highly inconsistent and seems to be caused by interactions between where you land on top of the clone and the interaction it has with the environment, and generally will cause you to waste more time to get perfect interactions to launch you up over tall obstacles, unless you are on Sunstroke, as that map has a high tendency to launch you when you attempt a Jaeger boost. And then there is the collision bug. This bug allows you to essentially do a Jaeger boost without the clone. The bug happens when one vehicle drives into another vehicle and they phase into each other, and then pushes the vehicle out of each other, and if you're against a climb or a wall, it generally boosts a vehicle up into an inaccessible spot, such as the stadium on Sunstroke. This bug has the most varied consistency, as when the bug occurs, it can launch people into the air or slightly bump the vehicle on top of the other vehicle. But it also is quite easy to get this bug to occur, as when driving into people at low speeds you will have a higher chance of phasing through their vehicle. One of the best vehicles to use is the M1E1, as it has a higher chance to cause the collision bug when driving at another vehicle. This bug seems to be caused due to the way the server and the client interacts with each other, as your client and the other vehicle's client are telling the server where they are, so when one client says your vehicle is in the same position as another vehicle, you will phase through that vehicle, and then the server will notice the mistake and force the two vehicles out of each other. This bug can also allow for clipping through the map in some instances. I hope this information will help you going forward on your mountain goating adventures in Project CW. I know I didn't expose every single climb or out of bounds instance in this video, but I do plan to give some more information on certain climbs in the future. Have a good one.